In this video, I'm going to overview some sample vocabulary questions from the Reading and Writing SAT. Now, these questions always appear and they always come first. And just like every other question type on the SAT, there are specific strategies that you can follow that will lead you to the correct answer every time. So let's start with the vocabulary questions. 90% of these are worded just like this. Which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Ding, ding, ding. We know that's a vocab question just from the wording of the question. All right, so once you read the question, now let's go over to the text. Unfortunately, with the vocab questions, you have to read the entire text. There's going to be a hint in the text that tells us which answer choice to pick, but we don't know where in the text it's going to be, so we have to read the whole thing. Let's get to it. The spacecraft OSIRIS-REx briefly made contact with the asteroid blah 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 in 2020. NASA scientist blah 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 reports that despite facing the unexpected obstacle of a surface mostly covered in boulders, OSIRIS-REx successfully blank a sample of the surface, gathering pieces of it to bring back to Earth. So right off the bat, I'm looking for my hint. They're going to give you a hint in this text, and you have to pick the word that matches that hint in the best possible way. In this case, it's gathering. They didn't need to put this extra information. So let's ask ourselves, and we'll go through the answer options, and you want to use process of elimination because there are 3 incorrect answers, and you're going to have a much easier time finding the incorrect answer than you would finding the correct answer. So attached, I guess OSIRIS-REx successfully attached a sample of the surface, maybe? Collected, B would make more sense. Usually what we do is collect a sample. That's more common. And then I look at here and I see option C, followed. Followed does not match gathering, and it also doesn't match the context of this text. Why would a spacecraft follow a sample of a rock or something? I don't know. I don't even understand 90% of this, but I can still find the right answer. That doesn't make sense. In this context, followed means traveled behind, and it's not clear what it would mean for a spacecraft to travel behind the sample it collected. They're always going to give you one answer that's just totally out of context. Doesn't make sense, doesn't fit. And then they're also going to give you one answer that's the opposite of what you need. If my hint here is that they gathered a sample, replaced would be the opposite of that. And I see right here it says they brought the sample back to Earth, bring back to Earth. That doesn't match with replace. In this context, replace means put back. The text doesn't suggest that anything was returned to the asteroid. No, they took something from the asteroid. So they're always going to give you one answer choice that's out of context on the vocab questions, and they're always going to give you one answer choice that's the opposite of the word you need. So now we're left with attached and collected, and the question is, which term is a better synonym for gather? And if you said collected, you're correct. In this context, collected means took away. The text indicates that OSIRIS-REx was able to gather a sample to return to Earth or collect the sample and bring it back to Earth. Attached, I guess that could work, but collect is the better answer of the two. In this context, attached means connected. The text doesn't suggest that the spacecraft attached anything to the asteroid. So on the vocab questions, you really have to stick to the text. Don't think too much about it. Look for the hint, in this case, gather and bring back to Earth. And what term matches those hints the best? It's collect. That's going to be your answer. And just move on from there. You got it correct. Hey, are you going to take the SAT? Why not get an edge? You're competing against everyone else who's taking the test. And they are studying, they are preparing. And guess what? If you're not getting the score you want, it's not because you're not smart enough to get a high score. It's because you don't know the specific strategies for this specific test. If you really want to get an edge and get that higher score to get into the university of your dreams, come check me out on Fiverr. Doc English. I'm offering a 12-lesson course that will prepare you for this test, and you will have a huge advantage. Check it out.